If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
And this song fit well. It was such a statement about what we had enjoyed in the years when Orioles Magic was first born. And I took it to San Diego, and a buddy of mine came out from Baltimore. He said, "You can't play that here. That's an Orioles song." I said, "Well, the folks in San Diego don't know that." And then when he heard it at Fenway, he was beside himself.
Well, I can read from your resume, because a lot of folks, you're one of the unappreciated guys, and but you're not, you're kind of like Julie Wagner today, and I'll give you your chance, or Phil Litzer last year, that there are so many people the fans don't know about who, no pun intended, make the magic happen. And you're one of those guys behind the scenes. Let's start at the beginning. How did you get involved with the Orioles? So right now you're in LA, you came from Boston, you're wearing your show your Red Sox rings to the camera. There you go. So we'll get close-ups on those in a little bit. But for you, how did you get involved in baseball? You're a Baltimorean who's a dentist, right? Pretty much?
Well, right, but the baseball came before the dentistry. Being a Baltimorean, I was an Orioles nut like everybody else, growing up adoring Brooks and Frankenboog, and where's
your background? Where are you from?
From Mount Washington.
Mount Washington area, okay. And you went to high school where?
Well, that was the key. That was the change. You remember how the Baltimore City schools were doing in the early 70s, and so in my family, we said we got to do something, and I got to go to Gilman School, and that changed everything. When I went to Gilman, it was a different world. It was different from where I had grown up. And in the last month of senior year at Gilman, the Orioles, the teachers at Gilman said, "You're going to have an opportunity to do a 1-month internship." They call it Encounter, and you can either choose something that you want to do when you're finished school, or choose something you'll never have the chance to do again.
And we have those kids here. Every year we bring high school kids in who want to work at a sports radio station.
That's right. Now, being the son of an orthodontist, my late father was an orthodontist, I thought that it would be adventurous enough if I worked for another dentist, a friend of his. I thought that was really branching out, because I thought dentistry would be a good way to go. A buddy of mine, Chris Lambert, who's now an attorney, walked down the hall and he said, "I heard they'll let us work for the Orioles." Well, I would call it a dream come true, but I hadn't learned that you could even dream that big, dream that high. And so it was more than a dream come true. And we went to our counselor, Mr. Downs, and Gilman set it up. And it was because of Gilman.
It's like the mafia. They brought you in and you never left, right?
Well, it's that I stayed almost willing to stay. And it was just for the 1 month, no pay. But
summer of
76.
76.
And
well, that's a Reggie Jackson summer.
Oh, it was.
Oh, yeah. Not that I know a lot about the Orioles or anything. That was the Wayne Garland summer. And Don Baylor, Bobby Grich were still hanging around, right?
So Saturday, May 8th of 76, even before the internship begins on Monday, May 10th, I'm allowed to come to the ballpark early that Saturday morning and be part of the group that moves those Brooks Robinson replica jersey T-shirts to the gates for what's going to be maybe the biggest and most festive crowd we've had to that point. So I'm allowed to move the boxes from the warehouse.
These were the orange Brooks Robinson jerseys?
Yeah.
Had one.
That's right.
Had one. Yeah.
And
nice. Preakness week too, by the way, in 76, but go ahead.
So I'm thrilled to get to move these boxes to the gates.
You just want to be a part of it.
You're getting to be at the Orioles.
I was 15 years old, and they let me into the News American Sports Department, and John Stedman's sitting there, and all I ever wanted to do was be John Stedman, and it's like, and I've been sucked in for 25 years myself, so.
Right. Now, 2 days later, Monday, May 10th, the day the internship technically starts, you're right, it's the Reggie Jackson year, and so I'm sitting there with Chris in a little makeshift cubicle, and we hear through the paper-thin walls that the assistant PR director, Mac Barrett, who's still a wonderful guy in town, he's one of the Oriole advocates, he's on the phone with Reggie Jackson. And the Orioles are at home but off. And he says he's working on Reggie's bio, because you remember Reggie came late that year. He came around April 30th.
And he was not a fan favorite, as I remember
Well,
it.
right, because he would have been had he come when the Orioles made the trade on April 2nd, but when he had reservations about going through with it, I remember us thinking.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.